Okay, remember the story we were talking about, Mary and her baby. When the baby was born, the baby was not crying, and the nurse assured her that the baby was fine, that she should just relax, that the baby is fine. There was nothing to worry about. But she was not comfortable. She tried feeding the baby, and the baby wasn't taking any food except the water. She gave the baby, and the baby gulped it down, and after then she continued with that strange breathing that the sound she was making, which got Mary worried, and she kept calling the nurses, but they kept assuring her that the baby was fine. All until the baby was no longer breathing, and this happened after about 6 hours. The baby was born. Yes, she said 6 hours. The baby stayed 6 hours means she 3 hours has passed, and she had held this baby in her arm for many hours, and which is about so this baby stayed in that hospital for about 9 hours. And the nurses did not even think of doing anything about that baby until the when it was all critical, and they just came out when Mary kept screaming that something is wrong with my baby. You need to come and check my baby. And then she called her husband to please come, because her husband has gone home after she put to bed, not to go and put something together for her to bring. Now, when the nurses checked, they said, he's fine, but she needs oxygen. That's what they said to her. Excuse me. And so, when Mary's husband finally came, Mary narrated the situation. The husband did not even wait. The day to go take the baby somewhere where there is oxygen. As the nurses say, you need to take the baby to another hospital for her to get oxygen. That's all. Now, to them, they know that this baby is no longer breathing, meaning the baby was far gone, the baby was dead. But they still wanted to stress this couple. And so they asked them to go to another hospital. And why the husband did not have a car, and it was dead of the night very early. There was no taxi or car running, and he couldn't even wait. So in that, he just wrapped up the baby with everything he could, a blanket, because it was raining heavily outside. It was raining outside, and he does not even have an umbrella. You remember? So he wrapped up the baby in a blanket, still thinking that his baby was alive. Now when he got to the gate, he realized the gate was locked, and he started shouting that, please come and lock the gate, come and lock the gate. And they were just wasting too much time. This man had to scale the fence with the baby in his hand. He practically climbed the fence. It was not too high, but it was risky holding a baby. But he had to do something. He did not want his baby, anything to happen to his daughter. He ran as fast as he could, because the other hospital, which is a private hospital that has oxygen, is not too far. Well, a bit far from the house, far more than this other hospital that she delivered. So the husband he ran as if his life depends on it, until he got to that hospital. Because there was no bike, there was no taxi. This is how I don't know, to put together how the whole situation was for him that moment. He couldn't even wait to flag down anyone. He was just running. He was just running. He was just to get this baby to be breathing again, because they said she needed oxygen, so he had to do whatever he has to do. So until he got to the hospital, they took the baby. The private hospital took the baby from him and took her to where they would put oxygen. So that was when they realized that the baby was far gone. It was dead on arrival. And so they informed the man that the baby is no longer alive. He broke down. He broke down. This man broke down. He could just, who wouldn't? The father. Just the father. Because back in the other hospital, remember the mother was still there. The mother was still in that other hospital, thinking that what the nurse said, that the baby just needed oxygen, was true. So she was still hoping that her baby was alive, and maybe the husband would be able to get the baby breathing again through the help of the oxygen in the other hospital. Unknown to her, that her baby was gone. So she still had the hope that her baby was still alive. So when she called the husband, how is it going? That the husband, they did not want to break the news to her. They told her the baby was still alive, that the baby is already in oxygen. So she said, thank God, thank heavens, thank God that the baby is still alive, he's breathing, it's fine, it's in oxygen. So yes, she began to pray. I said, God, just keep my baby safe, keep my baby guided, protected, because Lord, I don't know what I would do if the baby goes. She was practically praying at that moment when the husband told her that the baby was still alive and it was in oxygen. So she even called some people, please pray for my baby. My baby's in oxygen. I just gave birth, and then they were doing that for her. So Mary waited in the other hospital. She was to be discharged the following day. So the other hospital, they handed the baby back to the man, to the husband, and said, take your baby. The baby's gone, the baby's dead. So the man took the baby home, and before the following morning, they found a place, the family, and they buried the baby. There's nothing that could be done there, you know. So yeah, in the other hospital where Mary gave birth, she was still there. She called the husband again, unknown to her that the baby was already baby. He said, "Okay, please come and pick me up so that we can go and see so that I can just freshen up, and then we can go and see the baby." The husband said, "Okay, I'm coming to come pick you. We'll go and see the baby." And so the husband came, and while she was leaving the hospital, a nurse, one of the nurses that knew that the baby was there, said something. Said, "You know, even if the baby doesn't make it, it's probably for the best because you know the baby has already drank so much water, and the water has traveled to the baby's brain. So even if the baby survived, the baby may not be a normal child." She was trying to use this as a comforting word for Mary. Mary found this stranger and didn't even say anything to the girl. We were like, "Please just get out of my way, let me pass," because she knows that they cause all this havoc. So the nurse keep assuring her that it's for the best, it's best for the baby doesn't really so because the baby have water has got into her brain and soaked her up internally, so she may not be able to be a normal child. So Mary walked out on them and said, "Please just leave me alone." And so she wanted to go freshen up so she can go see her baby in the hospital. Her baby was dead and buried. Because when she returned home, she saw a lot of people in the compound, and they keep telling her. Some of them were so forward to come and tell her, "Sorry, sorry, oh sorry," you know how we work. And so she was like, "Why are you guys telling me sorry? What happened?" That was how I think one of the mothers, I guess her mother-in-law, so came and told her that the baby was dead, and they showed her the grief, and she broke down. Oh God, she was unconsolable. So when I just flash back to all this news, and I find it so heartbreaking to what these people had to do to this woman, to this couple, because there's if they have paid attention, if they've given that baby some time to care for her, we were able to make her cry. I don't know. The baby could have survived. The baby could have. They said she was alive for 9 hours. So within those hours, there's every possibility that something that can be done. If there was none, they could have referred her to another hospital. Okay, we don't have all these things here. You can go to the other hospital and get this whatever you need there. But they just neglected, went to sleep, and left that woman and her baby and all the whole trauma and everything. Writing this story again, I felt so heartbreaking, not just for her, for several other mothers who have lost their baby through negligence, through carelessness of the either the nurse, the doctor, the hospital in general. Or some people say they will feel like, oh, okay, she doesn't have the money to buy this one, they will neglect her and then or the child and something bad happens. So please, we can do better. Remember, it's human first before anything. Yeah, the heartbroken woman cannot get her child back again. They don't know how it feels to carry pregnancy for 9 months and then loses that at the end. It's traumatizing. The pain does not go away. The pain stays there forever. No matter how consoling it will be, people will come to console to give a comforting word, but it will always be there. You cannot get out of it. It can even drive one crazy, mentally break down. It's not an easy thing. So we can do better as people, as humans. Life first before anything. I hope you enjoyed this story. We can do better.